All right, this is ETSPN doing our 4A bracket and our Braketology 101 with Coach Sean Jones. Our Rebel coach here is out of the playoffs. It's been a while, Coach, I guess. Maybe.
We made it the last 2 years. We went, I think it was like 16 straight years and made the playoffs. But we just had a tough season, so we're going to regroup. Like I said, had a young team. Hopefully, come back with the new conference next year and do better. But,
That's right. Your loss is our game.
Well, I guess I didn't do a great job coaching this year, but maybe I can pick some games. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Oh, that's great. Well, you got a young squad there, and I think you guys are looking up. Let's do the 4A bracket, Coach. We got now. I think it's a little bit of an early upset here, having Livingston Academy up at the #1 spot. I thought we'd see Fulton up there this year. I wonder. I haven't talked to Coach Ballard yet. I wonder what he thinks about that.
Well, I think everybody thought all along that Fulton would be the #1 seed in this quad. That's what it looked like was happening. I think the problem usually is where Livingston is located. I think that's got a lot to do with it, where they could be shifted to quad 3. Or quad 2 or into quad 1. So that's probably what happened there at Livingston. And plus being 9-1, they got one more win to Fulton, and that's a big deal also, getting that extra win. So that's probably why they got the #1 seed. Although it looks like Gibbs Fulton should have been the #1 seed. That's why Livingston got it.
And Livingston 9-1, and it's hard to argue with the one loss, 32-31. It was at White House though. And they have Granger. We're familiar with Granger. Well, what do you think about that early matchup there?
Well, I do know Livingston a little bit, and when I say that, back when we just had 5 classifications, I watched Livingston with a 5-5 team get in the playoffs and win a state championship, and it was just kind of amazing. That's when we used to be at Middle Tennessee State. I think it's been like 5 years ago. So they could play a little bit, but them being the #1 seed, Granger, they've had a good year this year, and just a tough conference that they're in. They got 4 wins. With the teams after Greenwood's pretty even. But of course, being the #1 seed and being 9-1, it's going to be hard to pick against Livingston. So we go with Livingston Academy right there on that 1 seed, making it through the first round.
We're moving the 1 along. Now we're going to head down to Fulton. Fulton has had a great year. They cruised to 8 wins, beating teams like Gibbs and Gatlinburg-Pittman. They got a loss to the West Rebels, 27-26, and they played Alcoa tough. Lost 30-7, but played really well. What do you see happening in this ball game?
Well, Fulton, before we went to 6 classifications, was down there 2A with us, and it was always either Alcoa or Fulton or Austin East you had to get through. So Fulton's got a great program. They always have. Watch them play. Years going to play off up at Greenville. I think it was 2 years ago, or maybe it was last year. Fulton come in there. Huge team. But Greenwood just, pretty much manhandled last year. But been a 2 seed this year, 8-2, having a great year. Knox Carter, don't know a whole lot about them. They're down in that other region, 5-5, gets in the playoffs. It's a pretty tough district down in Knoxville. So if you get in the playoffs, out of those teams out of Knoxville. But we've been in number 2 seed. We'll go with Fulton right there and keep the top seeds win right there in the first round. And
Carter's got a couple nice wins as well against Gibbs and Austin East to kind of close out the year a little bit. Let's move on up to that 4-5 game with DeKalb and Sequoia. Sequoia has lost their last 3 ball games, heading in the wrong direction a little bit, but it's a strong team. What do you see happening against the 9-1 DeKalb team?
Well, that means they were 6-1 before they hit that stretch there. Really don't know what happened. I've watched Sequoia on film this year. We played Rockwood early in the year. They were on there. Great ball club. Don't know a lot about DeKalb County. I guess it depends on where it's at. Probably at the 4 seed, them in 9-1. I think one of their losses is up here to Livingston.
That's their only loss, yeah.
We'll go ahead and put DeKalb County in right there, just because I don't know a whole lot about that. But really believe that next game between Livingston and them will be a great game, because I think it was pretty close the first time around.
Yeah, that was they'll have a rematch there in the next round there. I guess Livingston caught them, beat them 35-14, but you never want to play a team twice, do you, Coach?
Especially football. Basketball, they talk about that, but especially football. Playing somebody twice, it's hard to beat them.
I would think so. Let's go down to our hometown team, the Greenville Green Devils against Gibbs. I know they've played before in the playoffs. Gibbs coming off a win versus Austin East, 21-18. And we know our Devils, have the 3 losses against Morristown West, Science Hill, and Alcoa, but that's no slouch losing to those teams.
Well, I know the teams that Greenville's lost to are in the playoffs, and Alcoa is the only one that's below Greenville, 2 or 6A schools in the playoffs. It's just playoff time, and it's just hard to pick against Greenville. I know that there have been some times over the years you think, well, this team is more athletic than Greenville or whatever, but one thing about Greenville, they're well coached, and they play well in big games. So unless somebody could come in and put some extra players on Kenny Chesson can bring some UT guys in, or I saw him yesterday with the Dallas Cowboys. Unless they can sneak some of those guys in, it's going to be very, very tough. And especially playing at Greenville, we'll go with Greenville right there because they're a veteran team, and it's very, very hard to pick against the two-time defending state champions. So it's one of those things, until you can actually beat Greenville, it's hard to pick against them.
And I'm sure a South Green coach would love to pick against them at some time, right?
I mean, of course, we want to beat them one time, but I mean, I'm just telling you, like I say, they're just a great coach team. They play well, and it's just playoffs. And
that's
right.
Right.
I've watched them in the playoffs the last few years, think, well, this team might have a chance, and Greenville just comes out and destroys people. So, like I say, some people want to pick against Greenville just because maybe they don't like them, but I don't think that's going to happen until somebody beats them. Is the way I look at it.
That's right. I'll let you take it from here, Coach.
Well, up here at the top, I guess it's just going to be a toss-up, so really don't know those teams. Like you say earlier, it's going to be a close game since Livingston beat DeKalb County the first time. Maybe have some momentum. Like I said, I saw Livingston a few years ago, and they won a state championship. We'll stay with the higher seed right there and go with Livingston. Down here at the bottom.
Big game, Coach. Big game.
Last year, I watched Fulton play Greenville playoffs. I felt Fulton was huge. And don't know if they were necessarily more athletic, but again, one of those things, until you can beat Greenville, I don't see why you would ever pick against them. So I'm going to pick Greenville right there, not just because they're a home team. We don't have to play them anymore, so I'm not worried about anything like that. It's just hard to pick against Greenville in the playoffs, until somebody actually beats them. The last 3 years, they played for state championship 3 years ago, won the last 2. So it's hard to pick against them.
That's going to be a tough one, I think.
That's going to be Livingston and Greenville right there. And let's go back to this game. I don't think it'd be a huge upset if Fulton wins, but I don't think it's a huge upset if Greenville wins. So that's one reason to pick Greenville there. Well, Greenville could get past Fulton, which besides Greenville, probably to me the best team in this bracket here. Again, I don't see Livingston to play with Greenville. Again, although they're 9-1, got to 1 seed, they're closer to Nashville, and I think Knoxville are the toughest team. So as long as Greenville gets past Fulton, which I think they will, we're going to go ahead and put Greenville right there, winning this quad again. Again, it's going to be one of those things until you can beat them. I'm not going to pick against them, just for the fact they've got a good ball club. So maybe call a mild upset, but I don't think Greenville's going to get going here in the playoffs. They've got it going here in the last few weeks, and Greenville's going to come out of this quad.
Great. Hey, you heard it here first, guys. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you.